you are the only podcast that I just haven't. Trading podcast. I'm a little biased. You're my number one. I'm sorry.
Welcome everyone back to the FX Summit where we are live and we just grabbed two people from the crowd. You know, we have Deja and we have Soukenya.
Soukenya, yes.
Right? I got it right, there we go.
Yes.
But let's jump straight into it. So, we'll have to go one at a time probably, but just tell us how you got to, very briefly, how you got to where you are today. All right?
So, found out about Forex through IML, had a horrible time, went off. I found out about it in like 2020, but I decided to take Forex seriously in 2021. I've been studying ever since then, and I would say I've been actively trading for about like 10 months.
10 months,
yeah.
Nice. How about yourself?
So I found out through Swaggy C.
Oh, the man himself.
Chris Williams, you know, the greatest.
Shout out to him.
So I actually saw him on The Challenge. I don't know if you know on MTV, The Challenge. He was on that show at first.
Yes.
Then I found out he was on Big Brother. So then I followed him on social media, and then I just spiraled.
Just
I got
going.
into his academy, and then I was like, oh my God. But I got my first account in 2021. I put $1,000 in there. It took me a year and 10 months to blow it. I was perfectly fine with that because some people blow their account really fast. And now he has a prop firm, and I'm trying to be a funded trader through his prop firm, and it will happen in 3 weeks. I just want you guys to know that. So yeah.
Definitely. And what sort of, in the beginning when you were first starting, what struggles did you really face? What were the hardest things to overcome?
Well, obvious risk management. I think that's a pretty given one. I don't know why it took me so long to get risk management, and it's crazy because it's something so simple, but it took such a big toll on my trading. So I would say that psychology and finding my own strategy.
Okay.
I didn't get my strategy until like this year, early on this year.
Well, what helped you to do that though?
So Swaggy started up the live trading lab.
Yeah.
And he had other traders in there as well. And one of those traders was Lucas. And he introduced me to institutional trading. And he basically it was like one of my aha moments where everything started to make sense.
Okay.
And then the start of this year, I began studying ICT.
Okay.
And then once I got into that, it was like everything clicked. And right now I'm at a point where I see profitability, but just getting it consistent is the goal, consistent profitability. But yeah.
It's not easy, right? It's not easy, but like it's interesting to hear about the ICT. How about yourself though? Like what were the hardest things that you had to overcome?
Mine is definitely psychology. That's like my number one. And I would say psychology because when you first start trading, you see the Lambos, you see the Rolex, you see all that, and you're just like, how can I get that? And then you think that you can get it fast, but you truly can't. And then my biggest problem was trading when my mental wasn't right. Like I was trying to trade not having a job. And we heard on the summit today, I think he was talking to the guy, he was just like, I traded better when I had an income coming in. I didn't feel forced to trade.
Yeah.
So that was one of our biggest things too. And risk management, of course, as well. You got to know how much to leverage and how much to, keep in. So yeah.
And have you been to did you come to the FX Summit last year?
No, this is my first year.
This is my first year too.
Have you ever been to like a networking event before?
No.
No, not with trading and investors.
No.
And no.
This is like the first one. What do you think to it?
I mean, I'm amazed. Like, there's so much information. I definitely didn't expect the amount of companies that's here.
Yeah.
Like wow, and just meeting her. I met her like literally a couple hours ago.
We just sat beside each other. It was just like, oh my God.
And you just attached.
Did
you not know each other before this?
No. We literally just.
I thought you were like friends. Are we like best friends or something?
Everybody that's met us was just like, did y'all come here together? It was like, no, we literally
You had
just.
similar names and everything. Oh,
No.
This is insane.
She had a seat next to her, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yes. So, seeing another female trader, especially a black female trader, you're just like, we gotta stand together forever.
Definitely.
So,
And what does that mean to you though? Like, there's a lack of representation in female side, let alone obviously the black side as well. So what's it like, obviously, to come to an event like this, meet each other, see people on stage as well, or even people at their booths?
It's amazing, and honestly, I was
What's
surprised.
that lady's name? She had on the white. I don't want to say her name wrong.
Jessica. Yeah.
As soon as I saw her, I said, "Oh my God!" I was like, "Yes." Because seeing black males like Swaggy and Q is great and all. Don't get me wrong. I love it. I'm going to support black men at all costs. But seeing black females is a whole nother level because we already have so much to deal with as women than being black
alone.
So it's just like, somebody's showing us that, yes, we can do this too.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest part about it is being able being able to show that, like, you can do it. Like, put your mind to it, you can do it. So it's really great. This whole event is great. Like, I've loved every second of it, honestly. Like, it's been amazing.
Looking around here, like, there's all types of races, you know, all forms of minorities are here. And we all just trying to get to the same place. Like, it's just amazing. I love it.
Generational wealth, that's the goal for everybody. And
absolutely.
I love it. I love to see it, and I love to hear it. So,
Yeah, that's what I love about in-person meetups is that you physically see that literally trading is for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, there's no age, there's no race, there's no gender, nothing. It's like for everyone, and it all comes down to in trading, That's the beauty of it. While in like the corporate world, you know, they can say like anyone can do anything, but then there's a lot more limitations on women, limitations on women from a minority, for example.
Right.
You know, let alone just a minority even for the men, for example. Versus trading, it literally is just you. Like the market's not saying, "Hey, you're this," so you're not.
Exactly. It's not biased at all. It's just about you and your psychology.
Exactly. Yeah. So like, what things are helping you at the moment then? Because right now, you know, in the space, there's so many podcasts, there's so many courses, there's so many people making content. But what is it that's helped you specifically to, you know, help progress or learn new things or help you to stay on track?
Well, obviously, okay. I swear, I've told him this earlier when I met you. You are the only podcast that I haven't trading podcast. Also, shout out to Anthony. He's here.
He's here. He's gonna come on later. Yeah.
His podcast too, but I'm a little biased. You're my number one. I'm sorry. But definitely being able to involve trading in my environment as much as possible. Yeah. So basically, in what I consume in terms of social media, YouTube, podcasts, you know, reading books, you know, and it's crazy because I'm not even that big of a reader, but once I started getting in the space of trading, I had to get in that mindset and found out I actually like to read. So,
I can relate to that.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Like, same for yourself as well?
I can truly, I went to school, bachelor's, master's, great and all cool. But reading a book, I was like, I don't want to do that.
Never.
Like, especially in my free time, like, no. But once I got into trading, I started taking it serious. It was like, what steps are you going to take to make sure that you're doing great, to make sure that you're excelling yourself? And reading, my first book that I read was Mark Douglas, Trading in the Zone.
Yeah.
I read it front to back. I read it 3 times, I'm telling you. And I was just like, oh, my gosh, like, this is an amazing book. Like, so, yeah, that. And then I personally haven't listened to your podcast, but I will now, you know, because she told me about you. So, look, don't make no face. Don't make that face. Don't make that face. When I saw you on stage, I was
Josh,
like, here's
get
a
her
podcast.
out of here, man.
I was like, here's a podcast. I never knew there was a trading podcast. Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, now you're about to be on my list as well. But besides that, it's definitely YouTube and then Swaggy's course before he closed it and made his platform, of course. But he branched out, like she said, the live trading lab. I met Lucas and KJ through that, and now I'm in their courses as well. So I think it's definitely about networking connections and then making sure that you're surrounded by other traders as well. Yeah. Even all types of traders. Yeah. Like, not just traders that are on your level, traders that are above you and even some that are below you.
Or just started, right?
Yeah, you learn from everybody. So I think that's the biggest part of doing it.
No, I completely agree with you because obviously people don't really realize, like, the people who are new, how you can learn the energy because they're fresh, they're motivated, they're driven. Yeah. When you're a few years in, you get kind of complacent.
You just like.
So you need those people to push you, you know? Yeah. Remind you of why, you know, the energy you need.
And they challenge you.
That's it, yeah.
Yes, definitely.
And then, in regards to my last question for you, my last question will be like, what is your goal? What is your goal and how are you going to get there?
Well, my goal is to literally be able to retire my grandma. And when I say retire her, I mean retire her in the sense to where she doesn't have to worry about anything at all. Like, she raised me. Kudos to her. I love her to death. Yeah. But that's my goal, is to be able to have generational wealth for years, centuries, decades. Like, I need to know that my kids are going to be good. Like, I don't want them to get out the mud. I know that's what we be trying to say, y'all. But I don't want my kids to get out the mud. Right. I want them to have a silver plate, a silver spoon. There you are. Here you are. Like, I want them to know, my mom did this for us. And I'm like, yes, I did, but for me. But yes, but for y'all too.
Definitely.
So just generational
wealth. Trading really builds that base foundation to build generational wealth. I would say the same. I mean, just freedom and being able to do the same for my family and my loved ones.
Yeah, definitely. Freedom of time and travel.
Yeah. I love what you said there in terms of like foundational though, because I think a lot of people have a misconception where they think I'm going to trade forever. But in reality, it's the foundation, right? Yeah. It can give you the injection necessary to then build the rest
The rest of your businesses.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly.
Well, I appreciate you both coming on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
You're
much.
amazing.
Any description, I'll put it in the links below anyway. The links in the description below. I'm lost. I've done too many now.
Yeah,
It's okay, it's okay.
Yeah,
You threw me off by
thing.
not being a viewer.
I'm gonna
ruined it for
subscribe
me.
right now. I'm gonna
Before we
subscribe.
got on, she was like, I'm going to throw questions at you. I thought she must be watching the podcast. But no, it's good. It's a pleasure. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much.
And we'll catch you on the
It's
next
been
one.
fun.
Take care.